Hello everybody, Happy New Year. Today I'm going to take you along with me as I am packing away our Christmas decor. And while I'm packing that away, we are going to talk about reflecting on December and then looking ahead and setting some goals for January.
That's right, said Mr. Bear. The Bible says God sent the angel Gabriel to Nazareth in Israel with a message for a lady named
Mary.
Soon you will be the mother of a baby boy, Gabriel told her. What time is it, Mr. Bear? It's 11 o'clock, tickety-tock, baking time. Put the big hand on the 12 and the little hand on the 11. It's Christmas time, and Mr. Bear and his friends are baking sugar cookies.
Well, hey guys, if you are returning to my channel, welcome back. I'm so glad you're here. And if you're new to my channel and this is your first time visiting, thank you so much for stopping by. I'm really glad that you're here, and I hope that you find this video inspirational and worth your time. So today you are going to be noticing something different. If you missed my last video, you'll be noticing that there are a lot more full shots of me in the camera, and that's because I have shared some news with you guys, and so now you kind of know the secret. So if you missed it, we are expecting our third baby. So as I'm putting away our Christmas decor today, I just wanted to talk to you about reflecting on Christmas this past year. I am going through and I'm organizing by room. We live in a pretty small house. It's around 1,000 square feet. And so there was a lot of decor this year, like last year, that I didn't use. This was our second Christmas in this house. But there's still some things that I'm not ready to part with quite yet. So I went through, I'm doing the Christmas bin now for the kitchen. So I'm going through, and here's some paper plates and napkins that I didn't end up using all of. And then here's some treat bags and some muffin cups. And I'm trying to think through, what would I appreciate next year? How would I like these things stored next year? And I know that I would really appreciate not sifting through them during the regular year when it's not Christmas. I don't think I ever shared this thrift find with you guys. I found this in the fall, and I just think it is so pretty. It's a little trivet, and it's a snowflake, and you see there it's got something you can hang it by. I just thought it was so pretty, and I had it on our table this year. And of course, that little bell is a favorite of mine. I love these little houses. They originally had some writing on them and some colored roofs, and I sanded them off so they'd be a little more minimalistic. And then this mug a friend got for me this year, and I really enjoyed drinking from it. So I'm going ahead and taking all these little special kitchen touches, and I'm packing them away. These bowls I found a few years ago from Walmart, believe it or not, of all places. And I really enjoyed their little cable knit pattern and the touch of red in the middle. They work really well for charcuterie boards or just little treats like that. So anyway, as I'm packing them away, I just wanted to talk about reflecting on December, and then we'll kind of do the January reset, the monthly reset that you guys have become used to me doing every year. So as I'm looking over my notes for Christmas 2025, looking ahead, things that I want to do next year, I've said it before, I said it in one of my most recent videos, but Christmas just came so quickly, and I have always been a decorate after Thanksgiving person. We especially have to do that with our tree because we do a real Christmas tree. And that's something that we really enjoy. That's an important part of Christmas to us. But I am contemplating, do I want to start putting out some other Christmas touches, maybe mid-November, So I don't know, that's not something that I have to decide right now, but I am kind of toying around with it. I've always been somebody that's not upset and doesn't have an opinion about when people decorate. I think you can decorate whenever you choose to, but I do understand why people put their decorations up sooner, because you just want to enjoy them. I am going to leave this little squirrel bowl out because I just think he is so cute for the winter time. So I also want to show you guys that I am making some sourdough waffles for supper. I wasn't sure how they were going to turn out. I didn't know if my family would like them or if they would taste too sour, but they were delicious. So I'm using Lisa's recipe from Farmhouse on Boone, and I will link that down below. All right, so anyway, thinking about maybe decorating a little earlier next year. I'm also working on finding a condensed place to have all of my addresses. I'm usually really good about getting my cards out to people in person, like especially ones for church. I'm really good about sending those out the first week of December. And then the ones that I have to mail out, honestly, this year didn't even happen because I don't have all the addresses in one place. Some of them are like on sticky notes and I don't know where I've stored them. So I either need to get an address book or I need to store those in those people's contacts in my phone. So if you have a good method for this, just let me know down in the comments. Do you keep an address book or do you keep them, in the contacts of your phone? I want something that's very easy, it's very minimal, and that makes it so whenever I sit down and do those cards, I could do them, in one or two sittings and be done. And I'm not having to go searching for these addresses. And I feel like this has been a hang up for me in the past. So I may have said this even in, my Christmas reflection in years past, but I definitely noticed it this year. As we talked about Christmas coming so quickly, I thought about setting some weekly goals, just very simple things for us to accomplish in December. So, for example, you doing one puzzle a week on our new little puzzle board that I showed you guys in the last video. Kind of wrapping as I go, us doing 1 to 2 crafts a week as a family, maybe deciding on our Advent plan by October. So these were just some little notes that I jotted down as I was reflecting on the month and how I felt going into it and then coming out of it again. I did want to pop in here and tell you that the waffles, I did some plain ones, and then I also mixed in some chocolate chips in some of them, and then I also mixed in some blueberries in some of them, and they all turned out delicious. The only change I would make is that I would double the recipe so that I would have some extra ones in the fridge or freezer because they were really good. And as far as sweetener, they only have 2 tablespoons of honey in the whole batch, which I thought was great. The last couple things for December that I noticed that I wanted to mention, one of them, and I feel like I've, again, reflected on this before, handmade gifts are not a cop-out. I think it's so easy to feel like the things that you make are maybe not caring enough or important enough. And I had a few instances where I made some handmade gifts, and I just want to encourage you and encourage myself next year to feel confident in giving those gifts. You took time and effort and thought in packaging them up. So handmade gifts are not a cop-out. When I receive a handmade gift personally, I think about the time and effort and the love and care that went into, making these items. The last reflection that I had about Christmas was related to Christmas Eve and how we can maybe bring light to someone else's life on that day. We were thankfully well, and all of us were healthy over Christmas, and I was so thankful. We had sickness over Thanksgiving, and so did my sister's family, and we had to postpone our Thanksgiving gathering. And then last year, if you were with me for my Christmas vlogs, we had 2 different bouts of flu in our house over Christmas break. And it was just miserable. And, nobody enjoys being sick over Christmas. So I had just prayed, God, if it be your will, let us not be sick over Christmas. And I was so thankful that we were well. But I was thinking about the families around us we knew that had some sickness. And I was just thinking about how we have been cared for in the past, whenever we have dealt with those things. So on Christmas Eve, we go to a Christmas Eve service at our church. And then after that, we really don't have any concrete plans. So this year I had made a meal in the crock pot of beef and broccoli, and we came back home and we enjoyed that. I was just thinking I might like to start a tradition of having 2 meals ready to go in the freezer and then thawing them out on Christmas Eve. I thought it would be a really nice tradition to have those meals ready to go. And if we are sick, then obviously we would be staying home and there would be a meal ready to go for our family. But if we are well, then I would have a meal ready to go for us, and I could have it, on warm in the oven, or I could have it in the crock pot. And then if we know a family that is under the weather, on our way to or from Christmas Eve service, we could drop that meal by. So the two meals that came to mind for me were lasagna and chicken and rice soup. And I thought this way, I know good things that I could pair with those as far as with the lasagna, I would do a loaf of homemade bread, and then I would do salad and a dessert. With the chicken and rice soup, I would do bread or maybe crackers and then maybe some pickles and sliced cheese and then a dessert. But I could have these meals ready to go. And then I feel like those are two good options because they are nice, comforting meals. And also that gives me a dairy-free option if we have some people who maybe are having a cold and they prefer, soup, or maybe if they just aren't dairy people. So anyway, this is something that I'm thinking we really might want to try next year, and those are easy meals for me to go ahead and prep and just have ready to go, and then that will make our Christmas Eve easier, but also maybe in other families as well. So anyway, I'm looking ahead to December next year and thinking that we're going to try this, and if it works out well, then this might become a good tradition, and I would love for my kids to associate Christmas Eve with, oh, that's the day that if we're well, we take a meal to someone who is not feeling well. All right, as we are looking forward into January, there's just a couple of things that I wanted to touch on. I had mentioned in December that I wanted to read a Christmas-themed book. You guys were so good in the comments. You recommended so many. So I'm going to put a little screenshot here, and you can take a picture of that if you want to. These were all of your recommendations, and so I just put them all in a list in my phone, and I happened to already have Little Women that I had found secondhand maybe earlier this year. So I started reading Little Women. I'm still reading through it, and I am really enjoying it. So I'm going to continue reading Little Women. I'm also going to continue organizing. That was one really big thing I was doing in December and in November. So definitely videos coming on that, on little projects that I am working on. And now you can know and understand that the reason why I'm wanting to organize so much is because I'm just in major nesting mode before this baby comes. The other thing I'm contemplating this year is actually trying doing a digital calendar on Google Calendars and not having a paper planner. This is not how I've done for the past several years, so I don't know how it's going to work out. We'll just have to wait and see. But the problem I have run into with my paper planner is that I don't always have it with me. So when someone asks me about something in my schedule, I usually have to tell them, let me check my planner and I'll get back with you. And then life happens and I would forget and wouldn't follow up. And I feel like if I have a really good system of events and birthdays and just normal happenings of life and have things color-coded in Google Calendars, I might actually really enjoy that. So I'm thinking about that as well. I have not bought a paper planner for this year yet. All right, so as we round out the video, I just want to give you a look at our Christmas tree and at how pretty it looks even after it's been up for over a month. It is beautiful, and it is my favorite part of our Christmas decorations every year. So we will be taking that out this week, but I just wanted to share that with you and show you just it's still so pretty and so lush, and we have really enjoyed having it. So I thank you so much for being here. I hope that in the new year you will subscribe and hang out with me. And if you want to do that, there's a red subscribe button and there's a red bell as well, so you can get notified whenever I share videos. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, I hope you have a happy new year, and I will talk to you in the next one.